Welcome back to the Relocation Rundown. I'm Aaron,
I'm Geoff.
and we are the Aaron and Geoff team at Compass, your Bronx residential real estate experts.
Who are we talking to today?
My friend George El-Chemali from Sacramento, California.
Hey,
How you
George.
doing?
What's up, you guys? How you doing?
Good. Thanks so much for coming. I'm excited to talk about Sacramento.
I know nothing about Sacramento.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't.
With the Golden Gate Bridge.
I don't know if it's the same. But why don't you tell us who you are, where you're from, and we could talk more about Sacramento.
Yes. Thank you guys again for having me. Super excited to be on today. So, George El-Chemali, I was born and raised in Sacramento, and this has kind of been where I've grown up, done everything. We are only an hour and a half from San Francisco Bay Area, which more people are familiar with. So yeah, I joined real estate when I was finishing up college. COVID actually hit. Brought me home with like 8 months left of school. And one of my good buddies, his father was a builder and was in the real estate industry, wanted to start a real estate team. And I was like, let's do it. I've always wanted my license and kind of dove right in and have not looked back since. Doing residential, commercial. We work with developers and builders, which has been just a unique experience on the real estate industry. And I think that's why I love it. Just kind of being able to tackle it from so many different angles and work with so many different people.
So as somebody who grew up in Sacramento, you've seen it, I assume, change quite a bit over your kind of adult life. What's the change between when you were a kid and now in Sacramento?
It's actually such a significant change and difference, how much the city has grown over the past 10 years, 15 years. I mean, from a development side, there's just so much land out here. So you're just getting so many different exciting commercial retail centers, a lot of homes being built out here. And we had the new King Stadium that was built, I don't know, close to about 10 years at this point. But just that area alone, the downtown Delco area, just brought a lot of excitement and youth and trendy businesses to the area. And I think that has kind of played an effect to a lot of the surrounding areas. And more recently, you're getting a lot of people in California relocating to Sacramento because we're quote unquote affordable in California compared to the other areas, the big city, San Francisco, San Diego, LA. I put quotes because, nothing's really much affordable anymore.
We have to do the same thing.
We're an affordable part of New York City.
Exactly. So it's just been getting a lot more of national attention, I think, and people are understanding what Sacramento and the surrounding areas is because we have so many different pockets and areas out here.
So when people are moving to Sacramento, what are they usually coming for? What are the major industries? Is it a big politics town? So what's bringing people there?
We have a lot of, state and government jobs. We are the capital. So we have a lot of people coming for that. We have top rated school districts, which is actually what's been a big driving factor for people coming out here is to start families. Obviously it's more affordable to start a family out here. The prices are great and the schools are very high in ratings throughout a lot of the suburb areas around Sacramento.
What kind of affordable price points are we talking?
So we're looking at an average price point. We're still around the 600,000 range, from 585 to 600,000 range. But there are luxury markets, Granite Bay, El Dorado Hills, other areas where you're still looking in that $1.5 million up price point.
And is 500,000 to 600,000 getting you a house?
Yeah,
is that kind of
single family home, 3-bedroom, over 1,000 square feet, so you can get some space.
And here I thought California was a hellhole.
Well, that's actually an interesting question. What's the weather like? Because I know parts of California, in the South, it can be 110 every day. What's it like in the Sacramento area?
Sacramento truly has 4 seasons. You
Nice.
got a beautiful spring. In the fall, the leaves are changing colors. It's falling, leaves are falling. It's beautiful. We have hot summers. I'm talking several weeks in a row, triple digits. It gets hot out here. Super dry heat. No humidity, just dry heat. And then our winters actually get pretty cold. The grass will get all frosty from the snow, but there's no, snow like that. But we're talking, 30 to 40 degrees.
Do you have mountains nearby where you can find snow?
Yeah, we're actually, you go an hour and a half north, you go to Tahoe. So you can be in Lake Tahoe. And there's a lot of, skiing resorts and things around here a little bit closer as well. So we're kind of right in between Tahoe and San Francisco. So we're a cool little area in between.
So are you considered Bay Area or no?
We're Northern California. So we're not quite Bay Area, but we're, NorCal. So there's SoCal, but we're NorCal, the better side.
Okay. And what makes you the better side? What, like, why do you live there as an adult? Because I know you went to USC for college. So
Correct.
you were down south. Like, why did you move back north? Why do you still live there?
Yeah, I did the LA scene, throughout school in my younger years, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of fun. NorCal has always just kind of been home. I have family out that way. My friends are out here. Now my business, out here quickly, made a name for myself in a short amount of period of time in the business. And it's just been like, this is home and this is, where I want to be. And it's just been special. I think something so cool about Sacramento is the diversity, which is actually very exciting. There's just people from all walks of life, all kinds of people, all kinds of different backgrounds. A lot of people have relocated from different areas. A lot of people were born and raised there. So you just get such a cool mix and group of people that I think that really makes it special.
What kind of recreation is big in Sacramento, right? Like I know on the water, there's a lot of like boating and sailing and that kind of
Surfing.
stuff. What are you guys doing in Sacramento?
Yeah, so we have like the Sacramento River, which is very popular. You have some like riverfront bars and you got boats and people kind of park up and hang out and do like 4th of July on the water, things like that. And then also in more of the suburb area over like in Folsom, there's an area called Folsom Lake. And that one's like a lot of families go out there, just a huge, beautiful lake. So and definitely boating, jet skis, all that good stuff. So definitely body of water activities, a lot of sports out here, kind of all kinds of things, drop in soccer leagues, basketball leagues, things like that. So a lot of like community out here. There's a lot of different kind of like groups and activities that you can kind of find yourself getting into. We don't have maybe the big splash a lot of the big cities have, like the big clubs or the big entertainment centers, but we got great food and we got a really great kind of just community overall with different things you can sign yourself and get into.
So, what do you think is important for somebody who's relocating to Sacramento from maybe the East Coast, knows nothing about it, but is looking for a West Coast lifestyle and wants to start over somewhere new? What's like the most important things we should know?
I think the most important thing is maybe take your time in deciding where you want to be in Sacramento. Because even just within Sacramento, our 30-40 mile radius, there's so many different neighborhoods and vibes and places that you can live. If you're more of a, midtown, want to be in the hustle and bustle of things, that's one vibe. There's East Sacramento, which is still kind of close enough to that, but you have some beautiful neighborhoods and certain price points. You want to go about 20 minutes away from the city, you're in more just like suburb areas, great schools. So there's just so many different areas that I think really taking your time, touring, maybe even like, renting for a few months just to like really be certain and confident on where it is you want to live because there's so many pockets and areas. It's just so diverse.
Now, where in Sacramento do you live?
So I grew up in Roseville, which is about 25 minutes from the city. And that's one of those suburb areas that's growing tremendously. So that's where I grew up. And then I bought my house about 4 years ago in Natomas, which is over by the airport, about 10 minutes away from the city.
Cool. Why did you choose that location?
It's a great area. Obviously, I invested when I was young, bought my first house at 22. So
Yeah.
it's just an
Good
area where
boy.
there's a lot of growth. Thank you. Thank you. It's just such an exciting area. It's a younger demographic, young families, first time buyers. And then a lot of investors are also getting into that place just because the prices, are great still. And there's just so much development and activity happening over there. And so I wanted residential, but also I want to be close enough to the city where I got my office, you got bars, you got the restaurants. So I want to be in a kind of good, happy medium versus 20-30 minutes away.
And you said you're right by the airport?
Yep. Yep.
Nice. Nice and convenient. Now I
Yeah,
understand why you're traveling so
the best
much.
international airport because there's never a lot of people and you can pretty much get a flight anywhere.
That's awesome. That's so great.
So, is there anything about the real estate transaction itself that you think is important for people who might be relocating that wouldn't be top of mind? For us, we always talk about in New York, we have co-ops, and that's a unique thing. We also are an attorney state, so you're going to have an attorney. What are some of the things about the transaction that is important to know in your market?
Yeah, I think important thing to know, I think just important first step, I think is really just partnering with, an agent that you can trust in just because we are not an attorney state. It's up to the agent essentially to coordinate all those things, disclosures, the process. So a lot really relies on the agent and obviously, who you partner with the loan, whether you go through your agent to get a good recommendation for that, or you have someone that you know or heard of or just quoting out. And I think that's just important because in our area, I'm not sure about other markets, but I know like in San Francisco and other large markets, sellers will maybe give you the disclosure up front. So you get the full disclosure packet up front. Here's the inspections, here's the history of the property, and all that's kind of just disclosed and gotten out of the way right in the beginning. Here in Sacramento, it's not really as much of a standard and a norm. I like to do my listings. I think it helps my clients just kind of zoom past the BS, and later stress, unforeseeable circumstances, So I think it's just having agent you can trust in that's going to really do their due diligence, educate you on the way, and just make sure that effort is put into each part of the transaction.
How do you protect your buyers in the transaction? We work with attorneys from the moment we have an accepted offer, so I can't really imagine like how it works with no attorney involved legally. So like, how do you protect your buyers?
Yeah, I think it's just asking all the questions. I think it's really reviewing the paperwork. I saw this like article and story where like an agent was using chat gpt to skim through disclosures and give the summary. I'm like, I don't think that's a solution. So it's just not taking the shortcut. Oh, I'm not in this business like just to make a check. Obviously this is how we make our living. We don't get paid unless we close a deal, and that's important. I'm in a position where I don't necessarily need the paycheck. I just want to make sure that I put myself in my client's position. How do they feel? What are they going through? What are questions they may have? And I just want to make sure I'm getting all those things answered, whether they ask it or not. So I just want to make sure from A to Z that I'm putting full focus and, intention into getting all their questions answered.
If you were moving to Sacramento right now, knowing you've already done the rental thing, you know where you want to be, where would you live?
I personally would live in Granite Bay. It's just a beautiful community, beautiful properties. So many, you got tennis courts in the community, you got the security gates, everything. You got, the large, enormous ceilings, mansion style, like, and it's just such a great community out there. And it's still, close and convenient to so many different, dining and entertainment and stuff like that. So that's one of my favorite areas, definitely to work with clients in because there's such beautiful properties.
Are they like big houses, big
Oh
lots?
yeah. Oh yeah. We're talking from, 4,000 to 20,000 square feet. Yeah. Crazy backyards, fully landscaped, all that good stuff. So, those are definitely, some beautiful communities. If not there, then I like the properties right on the river. So we actually did a development. We have our final phase coming up where we built these single family, about 2,500 square feet that are waterfront. So it literally opens up to the river, and it's just such a beautiful view. And you just get to watch the sunset from your balcony. And it's just like, it's beautiful.
What does something like that rent for?
You can rent it for for those condos, we had someone paying 9,500 a month. So
What's the rental market like right now?
honestly, our rental market is very strong. I think that's also
Yeah.
another kind of value here in Sacramento is from an investment standpoint. I get so many clients who are looking in the Bay Area to invest, and they're looking at duplexes or single family homes, and just the numbers don't even come close to making any sense for an investment. It just doesn't math out. Whereas, they start looking out here in Sacramento, and our rental market's so strong. So you put any listing for rent, it's you're getting multiple inquiries, people put in their application without even seeing it. Like it's very and it's in high demand. And so, and the prices are great, compared to San Francisco. So you're essentially breaking even in a lot of scenarios, depending on down payment, depending on price, all that stuff. But essentially you can break even or start in the green from day one, which is a huge win from an investment standpoint in a single family home. At least, if you have more capital you can put up, you can get into that multifamily space and, make higher returns from day one. But from a single family standpoint, to be in the green from day one is a win in itself.
Yeah. Is this a lot of like student housing or just general housing?
Student housing, nursing housing. So we get a lot of travel nurses, a lot of hospitals in the downtown area. We get like a lot of short to midterm rentals, surprisingly, actually. So a lot of these travel nurses, 6-month contracts, 10-month contracts. They'll pay a little extra for furnished unit, things like that. So those have definitely been a hit.
Is there a vacation market for Sacramento? Like, where do you guys go to vacation?
Like we have the Hamptons here, we have the
Catskills.
Catskills. Like where's your like vacation spot that's like an hour or 2 hours away?
So they'll fly into our airport and then they'll probably go to Tahoe. So that's obviously a big market, whether you're in the winter cabin, snowboard skiing vibe, or summer. Summer's beautiful. 4th of July in Lake Tahoe is huge. A lot of people go out that way for that. And then obviously you have San Francisco. So some people will have like family here, but then they'll make their way to San Francisco to do all the sightseeing, the tours, and all that good stuff. Most people don't just choose Sacramento just for a vacation. If they are, I'd love to show them, what we have, but definitely not usually the spot for.
No, but I mean for you people who live in Sacramento.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you guys are going to go to Tahoe, but is there somewhere else that, like, if you lived in Sacramento, I'd expect they have a second home here?
Yeah. I would say it's usually one of the bigger markets, LA, Miami, potentially New York. But I think it's definitely, once they have that Sacramento kind of locked in, whether they move out or get that secondary home. Yeah, I would say one of the bigger cities.
What's one thing you wish more people knew about Sacramento, about living and investing in Sacramento?
Yeah, with Sacramento, I wish people would get to understand the landscape and the excitement that we truly do have. I think back then, maybe 15, 20 years ago, people heard Sacramento and they're like, oh, like, I don't want to go to Sacramento, or they just, they didn't really know about it. And I think more and more people, as I'm, traveling the world and talking to people, they're more familiar about Sacramento. Obviously people know it's the capital, but that's usually about all they know. I think just people really kind of just coming and giving it a chance because it has its own charm, and there's so many just good food places and like trendy businesses and things that come to our area. And I think it's just such an exciting and emerging market. And I just, wish people can come and experience it for themselves.
Is there a favorite restaurant that you have in Sacramento?
Oof, I'm a big foodie. So you can give me a category and I'm giving you different spots.
Give us a few. Give us like your top 5 restaurants.
McCooney's. If you're coming to Sacramento, you got to go to McCooney's, top sushi spot. Like that's where everyone's going for sure. There's a few ramen spots that I can't really give you a number one just because I love my ramen too much. A lot of good Italian food. Pazza Notte is a nice trendy one that I go to for a lot of events. Yeah, crew sushi, amazing. So I can go all day with this.
What about some Mexican food?
Oh, Mexican food. So we got some really good like taco stands, like those pop-ups. Those are my style. Like, I want the authentic, cook it fresh, bam, like get it on the go. So we got a couple really good pop-ups that I'm usually going to for Mexican.
I think the best tacos of our life were that taco cart in Dallas when we were drunk at 2 a.m.
No, that was Austin.
That was Austin.
Yeah, right. It was like the dirtiest taco cart. It was
So good.
That's what I'm saying. Usually the best.
It was so good.
Is there anything that you would recommend somebody come and see if they were coming to visit Sacramento? Like, is the State House worth like going to visit? Is there any like fun gold mine sort of history to go see?
Or like a zoo.
Yeah. I would say the zoo is usually so hot, but it's like so nice. If it's usually during the time of year where it's so hot. But I would say if you're coming to Sacramento, like even just the full strip, like all the way up to the Capitol, it's just very scenic. You may be seeing pictures like, the Gold Bridge, that we have. So like kind of taking that street all the way to the Capitol and just kind of obviously seeing the Capitol for what it is. And, Kings games are super fun. We got a bunch of bars and activity kind of right outside. So it's very lively on game days and after the game. And then Old Sacramento is very, historic. It's beautiful. It's on the waterfront, and just a lot of cool, fun shops and experiences you can get into while you're there.
Is there sections of Sacramento where you could still get a pretty good deal on a property?
I think there's deals to be kind of made anywhere. There's some people who have been here. I mean, back in thousands, my parents bought their home in Roseville in 2002, and there was nothing. Like, it was literally the community they bought it in. It was brand new, and there was just like land everywhere. So you have people who have been here for 20, 30 plus years who have been in the same house, since they, moved in. There's areas where they're upcoming and there maybe is a little bit stretched out from everything, but there's such a good deal being made just because it's a little bit further right now, but they have a full development plan in the next 10, 15 years, what it's going to look like. There's a brand new Costco being built next to it with a new school. And, so it's like maybe you stretch out a little bit further from maybe where the current kind of action is, So you go like an extra 2-3 miles and you potentially can get a really good deal just because it's not quite there yet. But there's already development plans approved, starting the process on it. I think a little stretched out from the action, you get a really good deal. We have some other areas like Auburn, Marysville. Those are kind of like, if some people really want land and space and to kind of be away from everything, you very much can be out in nature, kind of more isolated. And those houses, really go for really good prices. And then there's just a bunch of like flip opportunities and areas where it's like, okay, I really like this house. Maybe it just needs some renovations. I can get it to where I want it to be. There's a lot of deals to be made like that.
This has been so great. Did you have any other questions?
No, I'm just imagining my living like cowboy fantasy, mining for panning for gold in the Sacramento River, the Old West.
Is there anything like that? Is there like an Old West
You get kind of in Old Sac, you kind of get there's some stores like Wild Wild West. You can do your photo shoots, stuff like that. You got
Give me my cowboy boots and let me live.
Yeah. No, I was a picture when I was a kid, still in full family fitted cowboys. The fake guns, boots, all that.
See, that's what I'm coming to Sacramento for.
Yeah. No, you guys would love Old Sac. It's very cool.
No, this has been awesome, and I love learning about places that I don't know a whole heck of a lot about.
Yeah, we've never been. I've been to San Francisco.
Not with you.
No, not with me. I went as a teenager. So, so yeah,
you guys are gonna come to Sacramento next time, and we're gonna show you guys around, and then you guys are gonna love it.
Thanks so much, George. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, and more info about you one last time?
Yes, George El-Chemali from Sacramento. You can follow me on IG, George El-Chemali 12. Would love to connect with anyone considering Sacramento, questions about Sacramento, and hopefully Aaron and Geoff will come visit me soon.
Absolutely.
We absolutely
awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Cool. This has been the Relocation Rundown. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Awesome. Thanks so much. See you guys.